cooking a very different kind of a soup, lentil soup. You get a lot of canned lentil soup, but let me show you a variation of the same soup. I have used cilantro. I use a lot of cilantro for this recipe, then onions, ginger, and cumin seeds. And the lentils, I have cooked these lentils ahead of time. You can use a pressure cooker to cook them, or you can cook them over the stovetop. To speed the process of cooking on the stovetop, it's a good idea to soak them for a couple of hours. But if you cook a lot of beans or eat a lot of beans, it's a good idea to buy a pressure cooker. It really saves on time when you're cooking beans. So let's go ahead and cook this. What I'm going to do is just going to add a teaspoon or so of the oil. Then going to add cumin seeds. The gas was not on. So now it's on. The heat is on now. And wait for it to sizzle. As you hear the sizzling sound, go ahead and add a chopped ginger. When you roast the ginger this fashion, it gives a very different flavor. And then the onions. You want these onions to turn brown. When they caramelize, they give a very sweet flavor to the whole recipe. So you want it to cook well. And at the same time, you also want to add the cilantro. Now both cilantro and onion, it's very important that you cook it very well. You can overcook it, but don't undercook it. When you don't cook it well, you get that raw flavor of the onion. Onion in its just plain raw form is good, or very well cooked, but the in-between stage doesn't give a good flavor. So you need to cook this for about 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, this is how it'll look. You see this? These onions are really brown, and the cilantro is also wilted and very well cooked. Now, after this is cooked, what we need to do is go ahead and put it in a blender. You add the cooked lentils in this. If you want a rustic soup, you can keep this soup as is. If you want a very elegant soup, go ahead and make a nice puree of it. Let's make a very elegant soup today. So, I'm going to go ahead and make a fine paste of this. Add some salt. And water. After you've made a nice puree of this, go ahead and add this back to the soup pan. For convenience sake, I'm using a wok, but a simmering pot is of course much better than this. So you let this cook for about 5 minutes. Be sure to add salt. Salt, nothing tastes good without salt. Salt is the most important ingredient in any food. So go ahead, add salt. And the way to serve this is, I like to serve it with little tomato ketchup. My sister makes this with tomatoes, lots of tomatoes. But I decided to use the plain regular tomato ketchup which you get in the regular grocery stores. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and spoon it in. We'll make a beautiful design with the tomato ketchup. And what I'm going to do, take a skewer or a toothpick and go ahead, just I think we should close this part. And just as a final garnish is a little white cream. I've just taken white cream and I've put it in a little container. And if you have some errors like this, just go ahead and smoothen it out. It looks as if it's a special design, in fact. To serve with this soup, what I like to serve is bread. I made a little braid of this bread. If you have a bread machine, you can go ahead and do this fancy way. Even if you don't have a bread machine, you get frozen bread dough in the freezer of every grocery store. And I've added some spices to this bread too. I've added some cumin, I have added some black pepper and cilantro. It gives a good flavor to the bread. So you have special bread with a lentil soup, and the lentil soup is got just a very small amount of masala in it. It's got lots of onions, cilantro, ginger, and cumin seeds. Lentil soup with an Indian touch.